Hi team, good evening. Welcome back to the TrackHouse. Tonight we're going to do a seasoned run. It's 40 minutes long. It's roughly 40 minutes long. We're not going to get too into it on the particulars. I think the session's about 38 minutes long. Let's just get moving. Let's get starting and I'll talk you through what we're going to be doing. First and foremost, we're going to do 5 minutes of a warm-up. Warm-up is completely buyer's choice. So whatever you want to do, start with a nice easy walk, build it into a jog, or as what I'm going to do, just start with a nice gentle jog. I like to start nice and slow, keep my stride length nice and short. That way, kind of start working kind of my Achilles and my heels and my calves, just running gently on the balls of my feet. This is part of the season programmed series, which is kind of targeted towards, your more vocational runner. And the session tonight is a pyramid. Important thing to remember is that all our recoveries, all our recoveries after our little work period are going to be 2 minutes. So we're going to do a timed pyramid. We're going to do 2 minutes work, recover, 4 minutes work, recover, 6 minutes, recover, 4, and then 2. So you get the idea. Hopefully you are familiar with a pyramid style training. So really make the most out of the recoveries. Obviously, the work increases and decreases in volume, whereas the recovery always stays the same. So you might actually find you're going to be increasing and decreasing your speed and your incline whilst we're out there kind of doing the actual session. So let's just nudge it up a little bit, kind of prepare our body, because after 5 minutes, we're going to build the speed a little bit. And then once we've built the speed, and then we're into that kind of 2 minute work period, that's when we're going to go. Also, something else I want to focus on, for anyone that might be doing this on a treadmill, we are going to combine a bit of incline control as well. So we're going to add a few hills in there whilst we're also building the stride and building the speed. So think of it as, I guess it's a fartlek session with 2 minutes of tempo work, 4 minutes tempo, 6, 4, and then 2. Important things that what we have to do is really focus on our recovery, focus on the breathing during that recovery phase. That's going to be super important. But also our breathing whilst we're working. If we can get that nice and consistent and really sort out our breath work, sink into that 2 minutes of work, and that 2 minutes kind of striding, holding that tempo, holding that intensity. And just as a side note, we have 2 minutes before we work into or roll into our first set. So I'm going to build up the pace, build my stride a little bit, just as I get into it a bit more, roll through, just rolling off the big toe a little bit more, which is going to build my stride up. And then when I talk about intensity levels, I'm not going to prescribe you a speed. I'm not going to prescribe you a pace. But what I am going to prescribe is a certain type of intensity. And we want it to be nearing that kind of uncomfortable period where you are actually moving quite quickly. It is quite hard work. And if you were doing it, or when you are doing it on your own, you definitely wouldn't be able to talk. It's absolutely no problem once we get into the tempo stuff if you want to adjust and change your pace whilst you're doing it. And that works both ways, going up and down as well, as in you can speed up and slow down. So that's important. Adjust both. What I'm going to do for the first 2 minute tempo is I'm not going to worry about the incline too much, but what I am going to do is start building the pace. And for me, I think this first 2 minute tempo I'm going to use as a bit of a stride session. So it's not going to be a very high intensity. It's going to work on my range of motion and my breathing for 2 minutes and kind of improve and think and engage and work on my form. 15 seconds to go. and we're going to roll into that first 2-minute interval. So as I said, 40-minute session, 10 seconds till we get into some of the good stuff, good of the action. This is the stuff that makes you a bit quicker when it comes to those races. In 3, 2, 1, nudge it up a little bit. Start working on your stride, working on your form, nice and strong. Try and hold it. Try and hold the form that you've started. Try and hold the pace that you've committed to for these 2 minutes. That's super important. Let your arms drive your legs. Concentrate on your breathing. And this is where, whilst we're feeling fresh, it's really interesting. I want you to start thinking about rolling off that big toe, making sure the big toe is the last thing that leaves the ground or the treadmill belt. Because if you start thinking and rolling off that big toe properly, you're propelling yourself forward and not upwards. And that is very important when it comes to holding tempo and creating speed and pace and being efficient. So we are close to being 1 minute down. In 3, 2, 1, hold the pace. Keep the foot strike the same. Try and maintain the same foot strike that you have started the stride with. Keep working. Sync your breath. Breath should be rhythmic now. Nice big breaths. Nice and forceful. Rolling off that big toe. That is going to drive us forward and not upwards. Keep working. As we begin to tire or as you start feeling good, either just adjust the pace up or down for the last 30 seconds. Focus on your form. Engage the core. Nice and strong. 15 seconds to go. Hold the stride. Keep working. Usually towards the end of a tempo or an interval set, the arms definitely move the legs. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, slow it right down. We got a 2-minute rest. Bring the intensity right down. And there's absolutely no qualms, no worries about taking a little walk. There's nothing wrong with that. Or you just drop the intensity down a little bit to what some runners like to call a float. That kind of just moving, cruising along, comfortable enough to, regather your breath. Breathe nice and deeply as we take another 90 seconds and things start getting serious, because I'm going to just nudge the incline up a little bit. I'm going to try and hold the same pace. So similar to the one I just did, or you've just done with a stride. And if you're up on a treadmill, just nudge the incline up a little bit. And what that's going to do is force our knees to come a little bit higher. It's going to work on our range of motion. 60 seconds, 1 minute before we dive back in for our second of the tempo set. It's going to force us to drive our knees a little bit higher, which works the hips a little bit more. Hill running, incline running is really great for your form. But if you are out on the road and you're just following along, set yourself a nice, sturdy 4-minute pace, because this one is starting to get a little bit spicy, or will get a little spicy, because we have to hold it for 4 minutes this time. We tend to do fartlek work and kind of interval work when we are building and prepping to try and improve our aerobic ability and our capacity. 15 seconds, we're going to dive into a 4-minute set. Whew. Take a second to breathe, because in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, let's build it up. Work on the stride. Try and keep that form. As the stride length increases, keep your core engaged. That's super important. Keep your form. Try and maintain that same posture, same running style that you have when you enter this 4 minutes of tempo work, and focus on your breath. Nice and solid. Breathe nice and deep, right to the back of your lungs, all the way to the bottom of your lungs. I'm nudging the incline up just slightly. Make myself work for it a bit more. Again, what I'm focusing on is rolling off my big toe, driving the knees through, getting the arms to really work. As we finish our first minute of our second tempo, driving through, keeping our form nice and strong. Whew. These are the moments I like to think when I do tempo work, when I worry about my form, those last moments during a race when, you know, you're tired, you're running out of breath, you're running out of steam. But those last minute moments, they give you that passion, they give you that motivation. These sessions, the changes of pace, that little incline, these are what help you create a faster runner, improve your aerobic capacity, so that when it comes to these races, you're out there and you finish strong. And I think that's super important to remember whilst we're training, that those are the reasons, well, some of the reasons, not always, some of the reasons that we get to do this. That's 2 minutes of the 4 down. Just drive the arms. Try not to hold too much tension in the shoulders. Keep them relaxed. Make sure you're rolling through your feet. How does your body feel? Where is your foot landing? Are you being consistent? Are you holding the same form? All questions you want to ask yourself whilst you're running. And visualizing. This for me is that last K of a 10K race where you were like, ooh, this hurts. This really hurts. But you know, and sometimes you surprise yourself by trying to hold on. Those little moments, capture those, throw those into your training, and that's what's going to make us better runners. That and just being out here and doing it, because doing it counts for a whole ton. 1 more minute of this tempo, sink into it, hold the pace, adjust the pace if you need to, try and maintain it. If you want, pick it up a little bit, drive through the knees, or drive the knees through, I should say, roll off the big toe, foot landing, foot strike, all things to focus on, and then breathing right to the back of the lungs. Concentrate, drive the arms as we come into the last 30 seconds. Visualize that finish line coming up, staying strong, driving through, nice strong core. Often when we get tired and fatigued, we let our core go and we're not kind of tensing our abs. We want to hold on to that. 10 seconds, hold it, don't slow it yet. Stick with me. 4, 3, 2, down we come, slow it down. Whew. I'm going to lower my incline again, back to where I started, nice and easy. I'm doing my recovery jog. And if you can't see me, I'm literally like a ballerina, up on my forefoot, steps are tiny, my pace is minuscule. I'm definitely giving off a lot of heat though. You can see the smoke coming off me. Nothing to do with how fast I'm running, I may add, just simply how cold it is this evening. Whew. 90 seconds to go before we move into our 6-minute rep. And that's going to be the one that gets us, the one that we have to focus for. But my recovery run, because the aim of this session is to create a divide between the work pace and the not working pace. So this recovery, walk it if you want to, 1 minute, but keep moving. Don't just sit down. And it's important that we do create a differential between our working pace and our recovery pace. That lets us recover, gets the oxygen back in our body, helps flush out some of the lactic from the tempo stuff, and we go again in 30 seconds. Nice and easy. Again, I'm going to increase my incline, not too much, a couple of nudges, and then I want you to take the tempo to that really kind of semi-comfortable, kind of like, oh, this is This is a bit much because you're holding it for 6 minutes, going in 10 seconds. You shouldn't really be able to speak at all. 5, whilst you're doing the tempos. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to build the pace, and I'm simultaneously going to up the incline a little bit more than I did for the last one. So I'm actually going, whoa, nice incline on this one. And then build the pace, build into it. Keep working. Nice. Arms are driving. Nice time to check the body. How do the feet feel? What's my foot landing like? Is it on point? Same as when I started? Am I still engaging my core? Are my arms driving my legs? Focus on the breath. Keep working. This is going to be a tough one. Set your pace. See if you can find something that's comfortable, and then adjust from there. Don't get carried away going into the tempo. Don't set the pace too quick and have to drop off straight away. Almost build into it. That's a great way to think about, especially a 6-minute tempo set. Nice. Work the knees. Knees come through. Rolling off the big toe. Nice form. Make it look smooth. Look like a smooth runner. You'll be a fast runner. Shouldn't be bouncing up and down. You should be gliding. That's the aim. To glide, we hold that big toe onto the ground to the very end. Last thing that leaves. That's 90 seconds as we drive through. Focus on breath. This is it. This is the big race. 6 minutes. That's a good set. I'm just going to nudge my pace up a little bit. Whew. Not that I'm using it for a training session or anything, but yes, nudging my pace up. Whew. Holding it. Cool. That's 2 minutes. Nice. Does it feel comfortable? That breath should be on point now. You should be breathing nice and deep. Exactly the same each time. Each breath should be really forceful. Right the way back into your lungs. Breathe hard. Think about your breathing. And then you want to be rhythmic. If you've got headphones in, or if you're just listening to your feet, it's that patter. That's what keeps us going. As runners, just that hearing your feet hit the ground. Create the rhythm. Fall into it. Drive through. That's 2.5 minutes. Whew. Good. I love a long set. I love a nice stride session. This is that point in the race when you're kind of having that lull because you're not quite near the end. You know, you're not right at the end. You're not at the finish line. So you're thinking, I've got to hold this. And you've got to hold it whilst you're still out on the course and you can't visualize the finish line. So this is the hard part. That's 3 minutes. Drive. And then once we get a little bit closer to our finish line, to our goal, we can see it, we can taste it, we can touch it. That's when it becomes easy to motivate ourselves. But at this point, it's hard. But these are the moments, these little sessions, these 6 minutes of tempo work built into a 40-minute set are what drive you to become a better runner. Arms are now doing a lot of the work, physically moving the arms. Remember to keep the shoulders soft. When I say soft shoulders, I mean don't get really tight. Don't bunch up your shoulders. Relax. Make them smooth. Ball and socket joint. Elbows come backwards and forwards. 2 more minutes. Keep working. Try and keep your cadence the same. Foot rate should be so similar. You want to be metronomic. I really hope that's the word and not like a Transformers movie, but I'm pretty sure it is. Rhythmic, one after the other. Fall in that sync. The synchronization of your feet just repeatedly hitting the ground. Again, 90 seconds to go. Adjust your pace accordingly. A little bit up as we come towards the end of this 6-minute set, or a little bit down as we get nearer to that 2-minute break. Keep driving. arms work as we get nearer to that last minute. We work. 1 more minute to go until we get our 2-minute break. So don't panic. Either adjust your pace, adjust your incline. What have you got? If you can go a little bit quicker now, you are going to reap those benefits when it comes to performing later down the road. We'll reap those benefits in terms of improving your aerobic capacity. So 30 seconds, what can you do? Have you got a little bit extra? You got a little bit extra to give me. Last 30 seconds, arm drive, concentrate. As we start to fatigue, keep our core switched on. 15 seconds. Oh, this is just grit now. Last 15 seconds, last 10 seconds is that finish line. There's no form. 5, there's no function. 3, 2, 1, slow it down and reduce your incline. Catch your breath. Oop. Slow it right down. Don't stop it. Cool. Drop your incline down. Nice big breaths. Breathe. We've got the 4-minute and the 2-minute left to go. Whew. That little stop. So that's been nice. I appreciate that. I'm going to get going again. 90 seconds until we go into our 4-minute set. We're breathing, using this chance to relax the arms, relax the shoulders, get rid of all the tension that we might have picked up from holding that tempo pace, and breathing. We just breathe to recover. My pace is nice and slow, nice and easy. So what's the opposite of dramatic? Because that's what we're doing right now. We're dainty, just moving gently. If you've ever seen a Kenyan do a slow run, that's what we're doing right now. Just moving. We're kind of gangly and loose and just kind of recovery, focusing on the breath, catching your breath back up. 40 seconds till we go again. 4-minute set. Rest doesn't change, but the work does. So what are we going to do this time? 30 seconds to go. What do you have for a 4-minute set? Can you nudge it a little bit? I'm going to get my incline back up. In 20 seconds, I'm going to start shifting my incline now. I'm going to go a little bit higher, just one nudge, but I'm going to keep my work rate the same in 10 seconds. So even though my pace might be a bit slower, but I'm still going to be working as hard in 4, 3, 2, and 1 into a 4-minute set. Drive through. Build the pace. Find something that's comfortable. Keep your form. Like I said, build into the tempo. Don't immediately hit something that's too fast. Build in. That's where the endurance comes from. Set your rhythm. Focus on your feet, how they're landing. I'm gonna keep building my pace. Nice. Driving my arms through, trying to land on the same spot on my feet. Metronomic. It's definitely a word. Cool. And we work as we near the end of the first minute, which gives us 3 more. And our breathing is so consistent now. We should be trying to glide, roll off that big toe, pick the knees up through, drive the knees through. Try not to bounce too much. Let's keep our movement going forward. Strong core, nice lean, and good, obviously, breath work. This is the one. Now, yes, we're going to be making those improvements that we can take to a race day. Or what we do today is going to make our Sunday long run a little bit easier because we're going to be fitter. So doing the work now, breathing hard at a higher speed, is going to make breathing easier when we drop the speed down. Coming up to the 2-minute mark, keep focusing. Nice body check. How's the foot landing? How do the muscles feel? How are your quads feeling? What are you doing? Are you holding your form? Is it the same as when you started? Let these things come through your head. 2 minutes to go. Keep the shoulders nice and loose. This is your reminder to relax your shoulders. It's so easy to forget. Just trying to build that tension by mistake. And a pyramid session like this is useful for any runner. Doesn't matter what you're doing, 5K, 10K, marathon, ultra marathon. It has a place for everyone. So it's a great session to do. Focus on the breath work, drive through. We have 1 minute, 10 seconds of this 4-minute tempo set to go before we roll into a 2-minute warm down or 2-minute recovery. Right, 1 more minute. What's our pace doing? Are we on pace? Are we happy with it? Do we want more? Do you think we can hold more? If you've got more to give, now's the time just to ease into it a little bit. I call it a bump. That little movement where you put that, just that little nudge of extra exertion in. So just bump. There we go. That's my bump. I've done it. So come with me. Little bump as we come to the last 30 seconds of the 4-minute set. Breathe, work. This is the penultimate tempo is always the thankless one. You know, it just gets you through to doing the last one. But that is important. 10 seconds to go. Drive, keep your form. Begin to think about slowing down. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, back down. We come to a nice easy pace. And I'll lower my incline again. Doing my casual pedestrian jog. It's not crazy at all. Just moving my feet. Nice big breaths. Recovery, so super important. 2 minutes, and then we have a 2-minute set, 2-minute cool down, and then a 5-minute easy jog to finish. Right, this is our last 2-minute set, which means you got to kind of give it some. You got to be willing to put that extra bit of energy into it, because this is the last time I'm going to ask you to run fast for today's session. 1 more minute, and then we start building in. And it's only 2 minutes, so you have a choice. A little bit extra incline, a little bit extra pace, but you need one or the other. 60 seconds or 50 seconds before we roll in and we try and hold it. And when I talk about the finish line, when I talk about visualizing that, this is that moment. This is the moment. This is the set to kind of think about that last and final effort. These are the ones towards the back end of the session that if you've timed right and you've done the correct amount of effort during the front of the session, you're going to get the most benefit from. You don't always want to get to the last set absolutely cooked. Sometimes you want to have some stuff to be able to finish strong. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure this last one's a good one. We have 10 seconds, and then we're going to roll into it. Big breaths. Breathe it. Breathe. Start building the pace. Change your incline. 3, 2, 1. Start building into it. It's only 2 minutes. Be over before we realize it. Focus on your stride. Engage the core. Good. That's set your stride length. Nice. Focus on that nice core strength, which is going to build a nice stride length. Work and breathe. 90 more seconds to go. Last set. Visualize. These are the sessions that make us the champions that we are when we go out running those races. Everyone that crosses the finish line is 100% a champion. So drive, arms are doing the work now. Arms are really driving the legs. 70 seconds to go. Keep pushing. Rhythmic, metronomic. 60 seconds. Okay, let's sink in. Let's push. Can we change the pace? What more do you have to give? Last 60 seconds. Do you have any more that you can give? Can you nudge up just a little bit? Come on. Bump. That's what we call it. Bump that speed a little bit. Hold it for 40 seconds. Bump. Don't slow down. Drive the arms. Relax the shoulders. Push through. Stay strong. Nice core. Make sure we're still keeping our form. Are we still running in the same style as when we started? Whew. This is a tough one. 20 seconds. Now's the finish line. You can see it. Just build into it. Last 15. And 10 seconds. Hold the pace all the way through the finish line. Don't slow down yet. 5, 4, 3, 2, and down. Right back down. Ooh. Tempo comes down. Incline comes down as we come into our little recovery jog for 2 minutes. Oh, that is lovely. Breathe deep. Come on. Reassess into your little float. Pace comes down. Something that's nice and gentle. Relax the shoulders. Get in as much air as you need. Just keep moving as we come into our 2 minutes of recovery. And then we're going to do a 5-minute kind of slow jog, easy jog to take us home for what will be our kind of roundabout 40-minute session, which I think ends up being about 37. So all the hard work is done, but I'm not going to let you just jump off or call it a day there. We're going to keep working, keep moving. 1 more minute to recover, and then we're going to get back into our form. And we're going to finish off with a 5-minute easy jog. Focus, breath work. Just take your nice big breaths to recover. My strides are super small at the moment. Nice small little strides. Just to keep working. 30 seconds. And what we're going to do is, for the next 5 minutes, is just gently increase our pace until we're at a nice kind of cruising pace, if anything. But the intensity is still going to be kind of within that aerobic world when you could comfortably hold a conversation with someone. 10 seconds. I'm just going to ask you to start building. And it's just going to be a series of bumps, a series of little nudges. And this is our first one. 3, 2, 1. Just come into a run. Nice. And again, we're asking our body to start working again. So just take a moment. Think about how your feet are landing on the ground. Are your hips nice and high? Is your core turned on? Are your abs tensed? That small little tense in your lower abdomen is actually super important. And are your arms driving? You're staying nice and relaxed in the shoulders. And I'm going to ask you to bump again. Just a small nudge. In 3, 2, 1. There we go. We should feel nice and loose now after having done that tempo work. And also, the nice thing about coming into a jog after a tempo run is that the jogging pace just feels, or should feel easier. Should feel nice and easy, nice and relaxed. Big breath. We'll do another bump in 10 seconds. Again, should be aerobic. You know, you should be able to breathe comfortably and hold a conversation. 5, 4, 3, 2. Nice little bump. And I'm getting closer to a nice kind of joggy, stridey pace that's still aerobic. You know, it's not uncomfortable, but we're kind of building into it. And I have to use proper running form. I can't just tippy toe my way through this. Tempo work is always some of my favorite stuff to do. Quite simply because it's really good at imitating kind of that race scenario where you're trying to hold a certain pace and you can't slow down for quite a prolonged period of time. So a 6-minute tempo set is a really good thing if you're a 5K, 10K, half marathon runner, because within the environment, it means that you have to hold that pace for that period of time. And during a race, obviously the idea is that you build up your pace and you create that consistent pace. And with the tempo stuff, you want to be kind of around about that, if not a bit higher, because we're only going for 6 minutes, not for whatever time it might take you to do whichever race you want to do. Who fancies one more nudge? Shouldn't be too bad. I'm going to have one more nudge. Build the pace a little bit. Nothing crazy. That feels comfortable. As we come into the last minute before we slow it down and bring it into a walk. Big breaths. Nice and easy. How has your body responded to that? Is there anything that's sore? Or does everything feel great? Does everything feel loose? Especially the hips. If you've been doing inclines, how do your hips feel? And that's the hard part, is driving up a hill requires a bit more strength from a runner, which we're happy to do, happy to give. Last 20 seconds, then we're going to drop it right down and slow it down and finish off the set or the session. Keep working. Nice form. That was a great session. A great 40 minutes or 37 minutes of work that's really going to pay off in the long run. I'm going to start bringing my pace back down. So you can either just hold your pace. There we go. Slow it down to a walk to recover. Pyramid session, absolutely fantastic. So if you've got any form of race or any form of event, or even if you just want to get better at something like a park run on a Saturday, they are a fantastic thing to do. So thank you so much for joining me on that session, because that is great. 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 4 minutes, 2 minutes, all off the same rest. And that's the important thing, because that recovery, the session might increase in volume, but the recovery stays the same. And that's when we're going to start making adaptations, because we're forcing our body to go again when it might not be quite ready. There we go. That's me done. So thanks, guys. Thanks for joining in and coming to train the TrackHouse this evening. 40-minute seasoned session for you guys. Thanks for being here and joining this evening. And I'll see you on the next one.